Okay, what if I told you about a single seed so powerful an entire empire decided it had to be destroyed? We're talking fields burned to the ground, a total ban on its existence. Today, we're going to dig into the story of a plant that was almost completely erased from history. And the reasons why are, well, they're pretty shocking.
Yeah, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? Think about that for a second. It wasn't banned because it was useless or weak. It was banned because it was too powerful. It gave people real, true independence. And as we know, that has always been seen as a threat.
So that's the big question we're tackling. What in the world is this plant, and what makes it so dangerous that powerful systems, both way back then and even today, have tried to keep it under wraps? All right, the big reveal, it's Amaranth. To the Aztecs, this was way more than just a plant. They called it the small giver of life. And man, they weren't kidding. It was a staple right up there with corn and beans, and it literally fueled one of the most incredible empires in the Americas.
To really get why this plant was seen as such a threat, you have to understand what's inside it. So let's get into the nutrition, because the numbers themselves tell a wild story.
First, we've got to talk about this key idea, a complete protein. So your body needs these 9 essential building blocks called amino acids, but it can't make them itself. You have to get them from food. And, most plants are missing one or two. This is where Amaranth just completely changes the game.
See, it's not just about the amount of protein. It's all about the quality. Sure, a steak has tons of protein, but Amaranth's protein is complete. It's especially packed with something called lysine, an amino acid that's almost impossible to find in grains like corn or wheat. This makes its protein quality just off the charts. We're talking nearly on par with animal sources from a plant.
Okay, now let's talk iron. We all think of spinach as the iron powerhouse, right? Well, get this. Amaranth leaves have 3 to 4 times more. That is insane. For ancient people, this wasn't just a trendy superfood. This was their insurance against life-threatening anemia.
And the comparisons just keep getting crazier. Amaranth seeds, they actually have more calcium than cow's milk. More. And because it's plant-based, it's often easier for our bodies to use. It's a bone-strengthening powerhouse, no cows necessary.
So you're starting to see the whole picture, right? This isn't just one thing, it's a complete nutritional package. More vitamin A than carrots, vitamin C like an orange, plus it's loaded with magnesium, zinc, B vitamins. I mean, it is literally a multivitamin that you can grow in your backyard.
So with all that good stuff inside it, why on earth would anybody want to destroy it? Well, the answer has very little to do with nutrition and everything to do with power and control.
For thousands of years, amaranth was central to life in that part of the world. But here's the critical part. It wasn't just food. The Aztecs used it in their most sacred religious ceremonies. They would mix the seeds with honey, form them into statues of their gods, and then break them apart and eat them. This spiritual power is exactly what sealed its fate.
And this quote just nails it. The Spanish conquistadors saw this ritual, and to them, it looked like a blasphemous mockery of their own Holy Communion. They knew that to control the people, they had to break their spiritual connection to their gods and their land. So destroying Amaranth, it was never just about food. It was about destroying a culture from the soul outward.
Okay, but that was 500 years ago. That's ancient history, right? So why does our source argue that the modern system still fears it? Let's break down the 5 arguments for why amaranth is such a challenge to the way our food and supplement industries work today.
Our source calls these the 5 pillars of food independence. Number 1, nutritional independence. You don't need a shelf full of supplements. 2, it's resilient. This stuff is tough as nails. It grows in bad soil and during droughts. 3, no inputs. It doesn't need fancy fertilizers. 4, it's versatile. You can eat the leaves and the seeds. And number 5, this is the real kicker, it's uncontrollable. It seeds itself, meaning you never have to buy seeds from a corporation again. It shatters the cycle of dependency. Now hang on, this is a really important clarification. Let's be crystal clear. The edible amaranth we're talking about is perfectly legal to grow almost everywhere. The bans and restrictions you might hear about are for its wild, super aggressive cousin, Palmer amaranth, which is classified as a noxious weed. It is crucial to know the difference.
So the history is powerful, no doubt. But what does modern science have to say about it? Let's look at the evidence because its ancient reputation is now being proven big time in clinical trials.
This number is just staggering. A recent major scientific trial in Kenya looked at Amaranth's effect on malnourished children. In the group that was given Amaranth, the rate of wasting, that's a really severe form of malnutrition, plummeted from over 60% all the way down to just 15%. And that was in about 6 months. Just incredible.
And look, it's not just one study. Research from all over the world is showing the same thing over and over again. When you supplement diets with Amaranth, you see major weight recovery, huge drops in anemia, and even better brain function in kids recovering from malnutrition.
So why is it so ridiculously effective? The secret is synergy. It's not just one nutrient doing the heavy lifting. It's the rare combination of the complete protein, the high lysine, the iron, the calcium, all of those vitamins working together as a team. When a body is deficient in basically everything, it doesn't need one pill, it needs a complete food.
And this brings us to the final, and I think most empowering part of this whole story. How can you take this knowledge and actually put it to use? Let's look at just how simple it is to grow this stuff yourself. Honestly, growing it is almost laughably easy. Find a sunny spot, sprinkle some seeds after the last frost, water them a bit when they're babies, and that's it. They become super drought tolerant. You can be harvesting nutritious leaves in a few weeks and the seeds a few months later. And the absolute best part? It reseeds itself for the next season. It does the work for you.
And I want you to really let this sink in. A single amaranth plant can produce a mind-boggling amount of food. This isn't just a vegetable. It's a complete, self-replicating food system that you can fit into a tiny corner of your garden that offers a kind of food security that's becoming more and more rare.
And that brings us to the final thought from our source. The history, the nutrition, the science, it all points to one thing. Amaranth is an incredible tool for resilience. So the only question left is the one right there on your screen.